Hi, my name is Vikas Singla, and I'm the co-founder and chief operating officer of Securolytics. So a lot of people have been asking me about this past Wednesday's phishing attack, the one that targeted Google users. It hit over 1 million people worldwide. They want to know how this attack spread through the internet so quickly. They also want to know why their security software didn't stop it. That's a good question. But maybe most importantly, I think what a lot of people want to know is how do they protect themselves from an attack like this in the future? So if you give me a couple minutes, I'd love to answer these questions and then share with you some strategies and ideas on how to prevent yourself from becoming victim of a phishing scam like the one we saw this past Wednesday from Google.
Okay, let's start by understanding the attack. Here's a copy of the email that was circulated on the internet the other day. Now this email went to well over 1 million people. And if you clicked on that link, you would give the attacker full access, complete access to your Gmail. Pretty scary. So let's look at how this attack perpetuated so quickly and so widely across the internet. Now it always starts with what I like to call kind of a shady character. We don't know who it was, we don't know where they're at. We don't even know if it was a corporation or a government or an individual. We do know that they sent these malicious emails to people like you. Now you get tons of email every day. Always in a hurry to respond to them. Always in a hurry to look at them. It's hard to sort through what's good and what's bad. But this email, the attacker picked some general random name, maybe even someone that you knew, and said, that's who the message is from. Now the to address wasn't your email, it was this random email address, a bunch of H's at mailinator.com. That's just a kind of a free disposable email service. But see, your email address was in the BCC field. That's why you received it. In the subject, it seemed innocent enough. Basically telling you a friend has shared a document on Google Drive with you. So what do you do when you get the message? Well, if you're like most people, you click on the link. And that starts the next chain of events. Clicking on that link will actually take you to Google's mail server. So if you were to hover over it, it looks okay. There's really nothing suspicious about it. But from there, you get redirected to the attacker's mail server. In this case, web server. In this case, one of those web servers was googledocs.gdocs.win. The message in the website redirects you back to the Google web server, and from that point, the attacker now has control of your inbox. Using that control, unbeknownst to you, the attacker sends messages to all of your friends. That's right, it goes through your contacts, your emails, in your Gmail to get a list of those people. And it doesn't discriminate. It goes against the entire list, tries to find as many people as it can. Well, they're happy to get an email from you, right? Maybe you haven't talked to them in a while. Maybe your friends haven't heard from you in a while. So when that infected message hits their inbox, they're going to open it because this time it's no longer from the attacker. It looks like it's from you. Going to your friend with a very similar subject line, telling them that you have shared a file on Google Drive with them. So what do? They click. And the same thing happens. They get redirected to Google's web server, accounts.google.com. From there, the attack automatically redirects your friend to the attacker's web server. Again, in this case, it's googledocs.gdocs.win. And at that point, the attacker has full control of your friend's mailbox. and each of your friends may click on this link, infecting their workstation and giving the attacker full control of his or her mailbox. And that's what kind of how and why this attack spread through the internet so incredibly fast. We call this a worm. So we have to ask the question, why did conventional security solutions fail to stop this attack? Well, real simple. Number one, the mail that was sent came from legitimate email servers. In this case, we saw a message from this IP address, 155.201.248.113. And spam solutions, they rely so heavily on IP reputation that they're not going to stop mail from legitimate corporate mail servers, or they're not going to stop mail and can't stop mail from Gmail or Office 365. So it's really the perfect way to execute an attack. In this case, this particular message that I'm looking at here from this 155 address came from, you guessed it, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Looks like this particular mail server they have is maybe down in Florida somewhere. But that's not the only reason this attack went through the internet so fast. The second reason solutions failed to stop it is because it utilized legitimate URLs. Now here's an example of one of the URLs in the message, and you can see here that if you clicked on the link, you would go to accounts.google.com. And most people, including myself, would say that's perfectly fine. And only buried within the bottom part of the URL, the end part of the URL, is the attacker's email, which again, most people, including myself, would not see. Now see, web filtering databases, well, those solutions rely on local databases of bad sites. They get updates every 24 hours. Some of the new ones get updates more frequently, maybe every hour, but it's still not enough. And not even that, but these web filtering solutions, well, they're never going to block sites like accounts.google.com or other well-known properties. So there's really no way for them to stop it. In fact, we first saw the message at 2:23 p.m. Eastern Time on May the 3rd. Let's just assume your web filtering security vendor, whomever you use, within an hour, let's say at 3:33 p.m., they had a possible solution for you. Well, when do you get the next update? If you're paying for hourly updates, you get it at 4 p.m. So your database is going to get updated. So now you have this time period of approximately 97 minutes where you're completely unprotected, even with your web filtering solution. Another reason people couldn't stop it is, well, the attacker used a legitimate web hosting company called Cloudflare. This is a US-based company with US web hosting. So all your technologies around geofencing, which prevent users from going to websites that are in suspicious countries, would not have helped. Not only that, but there just wasn't enough information for any solution really on the market to label this site as suspicious. Really difficult one for most people to stop. And of course, there's the fourth reason. It's the remote user. You know, you spent a lot of time and money installing very good equipment, great firewalls, top-end, high-end IPS, IDS scanners, sandboxing technologies, and web filtering. And when the users are in that office, they're going to go through this stack. And that's the best way to protect them. There's no doubt about that, right, when they're in the office, and their traffic will go to the internet. Now, I showed you before that even web filtering and some of the other technologies, they were still getting to it, but that's certainly maybe your best option. But consider the following. You know, summer's right around the corner. A lot of kids are getting out of school, and families are going to be taking vacations. That means your employees are going to be taking vacations as well. Where are they going to go? Well, if they're anything like my kids, they're going to want to go to the beach. Now let's just put a little, maybe a couple of palm trees here. Everyone likes palm trees, they're nice. Now, palm trees are no good unless we have a little bit of shade, so let's get some shade on those trees. How about that? There we go. Perfect. Okay, we're sitting out by the beach now. We have a little bit of shade, and I know exactly where I'm going to sit down. Okay. So your employees find a nice shaded spot there on the beach. They sit down. And if they're anything like me, unfortunately, they work sometimes when they're on vacation. So let's grab that laptop. There we go. Let's put a little keypad on this thing. Now, when I'm outside, I got to tell you, just because I'm outside doesn't mean I don't need eye protection here. So let's put some shades on this employee. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So now the employee's on vacation. They're taking some time off, R&R. But guess what? They're connecting directly to the internet, bypassing most, if not all, the security measures you put in place. So the fourth reason is your appliances, your traditional infrastructure is simply not designed to protect remote users. So how did Securolytics stop this attack when everyone else failed? Well, we utilize a well-known process called the Risk Management Framework from NIST. And it's based on a couple of core principles. For example, one of the key principles is collecting data. So if we look at our own infrastructure, we saw email logs with this attack at 223. We saw DNS logs with this attack and information, people going to these websites at 224. Our firewall logs showed the same thing. Even the web proxy logs showed people visiting these websites. So we saw a lot of this data. And that's really the first part of the risk management framework is to collect data. The second key thing is you have to analyze the data, and it takes time and resources. Well, if you analyze the data, you'd obviously see people visiting accounts.google.com, but that's where you would first begin to see people visiting these suspicious domains, googledocs.gdocs.win. And in fact, analytics would show that the way people got to this second domain was the referral from accounts.google.com. So we have a lot of good kind of evidence here. Now let's throw in machine learning, the ability to have technology do what we simply can't. And machine learning picked up that there was this huge spike, this huge increase in traffic to both of these domains, and not just for one or two users, but across the platform, across all of our customers at the same time. Additionally, what machine learning discovered was there had been no previous visits ever to the gdocs.win domain. Machine learning also factored in previous email history and discovered that the majority, if not almost all the senders who were sending these messages had never previously sent an email like this where they were sharing a file. So machine learning took all this into account. The analytics engine we have took this into account and then made a recommendation. And that recommendation was to block email based on certain criteria as well as websites. And that recommendation was made from the analytics engine in what we call Decide, our Cloud Security Operations Center. And that decision was made automatically. Once that decision is made, or that recommendation is made rather, the platform evaluates the impact, both positive and negative. And if the impact is very positive and there's very little negative impact, then it'll automatically accept that recommendation, which is what happened in this case, and it'll begin to immediately enforce this policy. Now here it's a real time, here's a graph showing all the mail that we receive. I've had to obfuscate some of the numbers. And Securolytics stopped 97.7% of the phishing emails. In fact, you can see the very first one came in green. That means it got through. Oh, not 10 minutes, I apologize. The entire engine started blocking within 6 minutes, And within 7 minutes, it was at a total block, and 0 emails with this particular phishing attack got through after that. So just an unprecedented level of effectiveness that we saw. So we're pretty excited, and I'm sure our customers are too. Now, if you don't have a gateway solution, you rely on O365 or Google Mail, anti-spam, your effectiveness was 20%. And with commercial solutions, I was seeing no better than 35% effectiveness. So that's a problem. So what is that process? Is it software? Is it people? What do we do? Well, we call it the platform. NIST really has a great framework, and I encourage everyone to use it, whether you are a customer of ours or not, in terms of continuous monitoring, in terms of how you kind of collect data and then work with that data and manage that data and make actionable decisions based on that data. So we built software based on NIST's risk management framework, and we call this software the Securolytics platform. So our platform is fully integrated with 17 different services. It's completely modular, which allows us to add new capabilities, effectively future-proofing it really against any type of new threat. And that's very unique to Securolytics. Start by purchasing one solution, phase out the appliances you don't need, and when you're ready, add more services just by activating a license key. It's that simple. Anti-spam and web filtering together would have eliminated this attack from your environment. Now, solutions start at $1 per user per month, and we can deploy most of them in less than a day. Thanks for giving me your time. Thanks for listening to what we had to say. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. Our number is 404-260-7405, or you can visit our website at www.securolytics.io. Thanks.